Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I am bringing you a fun layout using some brand new product from Close to My Heart, and I am playing along with the Close to My Heart Twisted Sisters in a YouTube hop where we will show you products and twist them up a bit to show you other uses. So I have pulled one of our brand new thin cuts, and this is the floral background. You'll see how pretty it is here, and I've already cut a couple of panels using my die cut machine. And then those little pieces just kind of pop out. Now I will bring in a card base and show you that the reason I am calling this my twisted product is it is meant for a card front. So there is a pre-scored card base, and you'll see how perfectly that fits on a standard size card. So I'm just going to continue to punch out these little bitty pieces that did not fall out when I removed it from my plate of my die cut machine. And then once I have that done, I've gone ahead and I've cut a third one. And so what I'm going to do is trim off some of the edges of this. And you'll see where I'm going with this here in just a second. So I started with my scissors, but then I wanted to show you that you can bring out your cutter and do this as well. So all I want to do is cut two of the sides of that frame. On this one, I'm going to cut three of the sides. And then on that right one, I'm going to pull that and kind of compare it to that other one. Make sure that I have the floral patterns, and I want to cut the left edge off and then the bottom. And then there I am. Basically, I have three panels that will go together. Now, another new product that we have are our Distress Oxide inks. And I'm going to create a fun background just by blending these inks. Now, I have worked with the Distress inks in the past, but this is my first time using the Oxide Distress inks. And oh man, I had heard that there was a difference, but until you actually get to use them, I was not aware of. They just have this creamy feel to them, and I love how they blend with the other colors. You can see here they're just blending really well, and for lack of a better word, it's just buttery. It's just creamy. I hope you can kind of tell in the photos at the end of this video. And then on this mustard seed, I'm kind of going over that picked raspberry to kind of create an orange. And then this last kind of teal color is our peacock feathers. And again, I'm going to do the same with it and kind of go over that mustard seed to kind of create a green. So now I've got that watercolor background. I'm going to kind of clean things up here in just a second. And I'm finally going to show you where I'm going with these thin cuts. So I'm going to create basically an overlay just at the top of this layout. Now I've kind of measured out that center panel, and I've cut that excess off using my paper trimmer. And then there are definitely some lines. I know you girls can see that, some lines between those panels. And so I'm just going to take that piece that I cut off from the center panel and try to cut some of those flowers off so I can try to hide that definite line between the panels. So right here, I am going to kind of round some of those edges, and I did that off camera to also kind of make the panels fit together. Now, I did not like the way you could see my circular motions, so I am just kind of using the packaging. It's kind of like a watercolor look. You just use any kind of packaging. That was from some of our Close to My Heart embellishments or complements that come with some paper packets. And I'm just turning those oxide inks over on my multi-purpose mat, spraying it with water, and then picking it up with that packaging material and just blotting over the edges or the ends of where those oxide inks ended. Now, you do want to be careful because these oxide inks do react with water. And so I was trying not to get the actual sponge part too watery. That way I could control how those oxides reacted. So I finished that off, and then I'm going to take that same little spray bottle and I'm going to add some water, and I'm just dipping a paintbrush in that little spray bottle and then adding some water drops. And you'll see here in a second when I say that those oxides react to water, you'll see those kind of water spots pop up. So I'm going to do that, and then I kind of mess up and I get some of those oxide inks on the bottom, which I'm really liking. You know that I love paint splatter if you followed me for a while. So I've just picked up that paintbrush and putting it into that Seedless Preserves, which is that darker purple color, and I just did some splatters all over my layout. Now here I'm going to go ahead and glue down those panels, and I'm doing that with some liquid adhesive. Now I'm trying to stay away from the frame that's around the floral piece because I am going to stitch that down to my layout. So if you can tell here, I'm only adding adhesive to the floral pieces and not the frame. So I'm going to try to hide some of those lines again by using some of those tiny little pieces that I cut off. And I'm pretty happy with that. So off camera, I have stitched that, and I'm just going to tape that to the back. And then here's the photo of my two youngest kids I've decided to use. Now, another twisted part to this layout is I'm pulling out one of our brand new birthday stamp sets. Now, I love using birthday stamp sets because not only do they usually have birthday, but they usually have the word happy or celebrate or fun all by themselves. And so that's what I'm trying to do here, is add a title using that birthday stamp set. Now this new set is called Wishing You Everything, and I liked the sentiment, but I didn't want my photo so high up, so I decided to cover up that sentiment, and then I'm going to re-stamp it above the photo, if that makes sense. So I want to use intense black, and I have a tip for you. So the black doesn't stain your stamp. Ink it up in a lighter color. Right here I'm using linen. And then you can go directly to the intense black without messing up your ink pad, and then it does not stain your stamp images. So I like how that looks. I'm just going to adhere that tissue paper directly down onto my layout, and then use some of my craft foam to kind of pop up that row of photos. Now, I love tissue paper. If you've seen me do videos in the past, you know that I love just the softness that it brings. So there's a little bit too much white down at the bottom, so I've decided to kind of bring in that watercolor technique again. And I like how the two watercolor techniques almost like meet in the middle, but there's definitely that bold white stripe down where the photo is. So I'm just going to finish off with that peacock feather, and then I want some more color to the left by the Seedless Preserves. So I'm just going to use that sponge and kind of color in that corner. Now, I like how this looks, but I do want to just stamp with these oxide inks and see how that looks. So I pulled out a tiny heart, again, from that same stamp set, Wishing You Everything. And I am just inking that image directly onto the pad, the oxide pad, and then stamping it onto my project. Now you can tell here I am color blocking, so I am only stamping those hearts in that color where that color is on my layout, if that makes sense. So I really like how that looks. And I am going to add just pops of color around the layout. Now this zip strip is from the Retired Summer Vibes collection. And then I'm going to pull out some of our brand new shimmer trims. They're so pretty. I've got the Lemonade here, and I'm just going to cut off a piece and then put that down kind of where that yellow, that mustard oxide ink is. And then I'm going to do the same up at the top of my photos with that brand new Flamingo shimmer trim. And I love how these shimmer trims not only added color, but it did kind of add that extra shimmer. So here is a look at the final layout. Off camera, I did go ahead and do a double stitch along the bottom of the layout just to bring the stitching down to the bottom as well. So that's pretty much it for my twisted uses of some brand new Close to My Heart product, and I'll leave a link to that brand new product down below. And don't forget that this video is part of the Close to My Heart Twisted Sisters YouTube hop. So I'll leave a link for the next video down below so you can go check that out. And don't forget, if you liked what you saw, to leave me a thumbs up and a comment. And as always, I would love to have you subscribe and sign up for notifications.